Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. All right. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. Okay. All right. So we have the sun. I was going to say the solar card. We do. We have the sun, the solar, the beautiful, beautiful light. It is shining bright. We have some really interesting formations tonight. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's start with this beautiful Coyote spirit. One of my favorite archetypes, symbols, energies, intelligences to bless us with their company. This is definitely not unlike Anubis, which is more of a jackal, but the Coyote is one of those initiators, one of those kind of trickstery, canine, maybe it's a god, maybe it's, some kind of manifestation of your, personality, interior reflections, whatever it is, right? This beautiful, beautiful being comes to you when you are going through transitions in your life, when you are receiving those cosmic, spiritual downloads and receiving lots of important information pertaining to your path. That's fun. It's also scary, isn't it? I always kind of think of the Coyote on the there's an episode of The Simpsons where there is plant medicine taking Homer into a different dimension, and he is visited by the Coyote. And not the Coyote, well, it is the Coyote priest, of course, but it is more of the animal form, and it's very silly, very sly. Those tricksters, they can almost be frightening at times. But, this is a being that when met face to face, when you take heed, when you honor and respect these interactions, you trust the universe, surrender to the way. This is where you learn that your faith will not lead you astray. And we see here, it looks like this particular Coyote almost has kind of an umbilical cord and a little baby kind of hanging down out of it. Okay, so I feel like this is so much a sign of a rebirth. Okay, very much kind of it is when we go through these cycles of beginning again, when we are kind of confronted with a major end, which I think, you know, in the last year or so, Sagittarius, as we've talked about in other readings, if you haven't seen those, go back and watch some of them. You've had to kind of sacrifice some of the ways that you were living before. Some of your relationships maybe have changed or ended, and that hasn't been easy, but you have been taking up for yourself. You've been advocating for yourself. You have been choosing yourself first, right? Prioritizing your well-being. And that kind of movement, realignment in our lives is not easy. You know, this kind of work is very rarely does it just come with ease. Now, we do find moments of ease, undoubtedly, right? Moments where we feel at peace. There's joy, there's bliss. But a lot of it really is, well, you are facing the terrible, I would call it, but also terribly painful things, anxieties, a lot of unknowns, and things that are known that are also, you know, maybe related to old traumatic events, conditioning, things that we have created coping mechanisms for that we still carry with us. They don't necessarily always continue to serve us. And so, when you kind of really decide this is going to be my time to venture out into that beautiful sunlight, you know, all of those shadowy places where things can hide away, you know, they become illuminated. It's kind of like when, and this is something that actually we're doing today, when we move things outside, we live in a place where there's a lot of crickets, field crickets. And if you don't know what those are, they're like those little black crickets. And at the beginning of the summer, they start out as tiny little things that are pretty cute. They're still cute when they're big, but by now, they're pretty dang large. And we love our bugs here. Of course, we are happy to have them, except for when they're interrupting readings, right? But when we move them, suddenly the light is upon them and they scatter. I mean, just tons of them. And my daughter loves to watch that. She loves bugs in general. And such an exciting event when we, you know, lift up a pail or move one of the garbage cans or something, and all these little bugs go scattering about. And that's kind of what happens spiritually, right? All those kinds of little things that have been hiding away, they kind of go scattering. And then we have these energies, these, you know, archetypal beings that do come to our aid if we understand why they are here or not. They will come to our aid. And you, my friend, are going through a rebirth. And this is why you are seeking further understanding. This is why you are probably here, watching this video, watching other divination videos. You are looking for something, right? And of course, I don't have all the answers. Nobody does except for you. But we are all here to aid you in this process. And I think that you have this beautiful coyote spirit. So look for that. probably in dreams. They love to come in vision, come in dreams. If you meditate, if you do vision work, active imagination, these are good places to access these kinds of elemental, archetypal, divine friends. Okay, this could be a spirit guide, of course, some kind of angelic being. But whatever it is, you're really blessed. I love when the canine intelligences come to visit. Now the coyote's a little different than maybe the jackal or wolf or one of the shadow dogs. I forget what they call them, kind of in parapsychology and high strangeness. But these are dog or hellhounds, I think, maybe. But these are dogs that are kind of more what you imagine like a shadow person, a shadow being would be like, with the red eyes. Okay, and those I think come around when you're more on a threshold of illness, deep depressions, even maybe, when you are very ill. Okay, so when you're having maybe hallucinations due to sickness, fever, or end of life type of things. And this is not that, though. This is kind of a silly spirit that is fun. It is approachable, kind, a little bit wily, right? Wily coyote. But definitely the bringer of good medicine and love and insights that will be helpful to you. Okay. Now let's see. I'm looking at this one. I see a staff here, but I also see we have the Hermit. And the Hermit seems to be, and this is the Hermit here, seems to be reaching out. We also have an eye, okay? Maybe two eyes, actually. Now I'm looking at it. We have 1, 2 eyes. So I feel that, this feels like a very solitary journey, which, listen, most spiritual activities really are, even if we are doing them as a group or with a partner. Going into your interior landscapes is usually mostly in a perceivable way a solitary journey. Okay, unless of course you are meeting like coyote intelligences, other kinds of intelligences while you're in there. I am quite sure that there are ways to do this in tandem with other people, but those are some of the mystery teachings, some kinds of magic, things that I don't know a ton about. I mean, I know about them. I don't know about them in practice, really. So I see the Hermit, and this to me is very familiar. There is kind of a very lovely energy. I like the idea of the Hermit being in a more seeking posture. Usually the Hermit is kind of more, at a slower pace, using the lamp of illumination, right? Knowledge, transmuting into wisdom. But in this case, it feels like there has been a witnessing. There's something found, and there is an eagerness to get there. And so I feel that you are really finding some kind of success that is coming back over into your material world. Okay, and I think that there's a sense of I almost wonder if you are using your spiritual work in some way to make resources for yourself. Okay. And these don't have to be, money related, of course, but can be emotional resources. This can be trading of, say you read tarot, you trade some tarot readings for some energy healing, or, you go to some kind of symposium or something, and you're trading books of knowledge. Maybe you've written a book or have some kind of coursework that you have created. I see you out there in your chosen community, okay, as an individual of spirit, sharing your understandings, sharing your energies, and this is returning resources for you. Okay, and I do think that probably you are making some money, or you will be making some money through the work that you are doing, whatever that is. And I don't think that this is your only motivation by any means, but I think that it is something that has helped keep you on the path that you are on. I think sometimes there's a perception that our work is sullied by making it our job, okay, or that we are making money from the things that we're doing. Well, okay, maybe you're allowed to believe that, of course, but I really truly believe that if you are devoted to something that you love and you continue to grow within it, it is alive in you and around you, it will provide for you, okay? And we know where our boundaries are, okay? And we know when we cross them. Most of us have ethics within the arts that we partake in, and I think that there's no difference with you, okay? I think that you are very serious about the work that you do. And so I think it's wonderful if you are able to make a living doing that, or, other kinds of resources, social resources, like emotional, shared spiritual resources, so on, Nothing wrong with that in my book. Okay, let's see. And as we turn it, I see a check mark. So I think that really tells me, yes, it is a verification. Oh, and we were talking about this staff. I think that this is this is a guidance, okay? There will be outside help, but I think that because this is in the emotional zone, this is really about steadying your emotions through this work. And I think that you, especially with the solar energy, there is a lot of happiness here, eagerness, motivation. And I think you are truly, you're really just in your zone. You're in your power right now. That is for sure. I can also see right here we have it looks like a person who is kind of skipping or dancing, kind of chasing like a child would a little butterfly. And again, another expression of that beautiful joy, not unlike, and we'll hold this up, not unlike these beautiful little butterfly fairy children figures in the card, right? Very similar energy, just kind of that youthful, pure joy, okay? And now I want to look at this one. We have a bird. It looks like our beautiful cardinal coming to bring you a message. Somebody who has passed, who loves you, is here to tell you that they are thinking of you, they are with you. You know, they want you to know that I feel like they're proud of you. Proud to see you doing your best. Proud to see you doing what you love. That is what is important in life. Okay. Okay, so we have this kind of fun, it looks, it reminds me of some kind of contemporary art from the 80s, kind of very sketched out, but it looks like in a joyful posture again, kind of skipping. We have maybe like a little hat, a little beret maybe, but also, you know, just kind of going about the day, going about life. This emotion, and a lot of this stuff is in the emotional zones, okay? And I feel like there's been a lot of peace, okay, but also again that kind of energetic, not all the way to ecstatic, but there is a feeling of having extra energy physically and emotionally. I feel like if, like, say you were confronted by some kind of, you know, medium-sized problem, you would be fine. It wouldn't even faze you. You are just, you know, kind of really ready to handle most things, okay? Thankfully, it doesn't seem like anything is coming up as far as I can see in the cup, but I think you're just kind of really feeling good, you know, kind of that feeling of waking up in the morning, being excited to be awake and alive, and meeting all of your responsibilities, you know, excited to see what's next, having plans, you know, honoring them, and really feeling good about yourself for staying on task with things. I also think that in those quieter moments, maybe in the evenings, you are having feelings of visitations, you know, kind of feeling of drifting into the spirit world a bit. Now, again, this can be through meditation, visions, maybe dream, hypnagogic states, excuse me, the kind of in between of falling asleep and, or being awake and falling asleep, really, very potent time there. Okay. So I would really recommend, making a good sleep routine, getting to sleep routine anyways, putting away the phone, turning off the TV, giving yourself about 20 to 30 minutes to just slowly lay there, come down from the day, you know, relax in the dark, kind of even keep your eyes open a bit, have maybe a soft light or a night light, or completely black. I prefer very dark. Everybody else in the house likes a little bit of light. But I like the dark because I can see images coming up in my mind's eye. And I think that this is the perfect time to really think about those things. I also think as you get ready to drift into your sleep, to journey into it with intention, this is a good place to do some of these kind of visualization prompts. Deciding where would you like to go? What would you like to dream about? Who would you or what would you like to commune with? Okay? And kind of in your mind building these symbols, maybe even calling up a landscape where you would like this to happen, and really just kind of getting fun and creative with it. Okay, this will definitely assist you in these journeys. Will you dream about that place and this thing for sure? Maybe not. But if you make this a practice, it's more and more likely that you'll have something similar to a lucid dream. You know, using your sleep time with intent is invaluable. If you think about how many hours we spend sleeping, and of course, I think when we leave the base reality, time is very different, right? It's a construct for this waking life. But when we are away from our bodies, away from you know, the things that we deal with in the space reality, there is an opportunity to do a lot of work, to go a lot of places, to meet with a lot of different things. And, you know, going in there with a plan, or at least a hope of a plan, can become very useful. So it's worth a try if you are so inclined. Okay, let's take a look. We don't have a lot here. And I think this is great because what we do have is these three. They are in a line. They look happy. We have some emotional waters. Not a lot in there though. I don't see chaos or anxiety. I think that we're in a place of peace again. That's what you know, the other bowl is telling me. And I'm really thinking that there is just an ease to your living at the moment. So enjoy it. All right, let's see. We have the Indigo Sage affirmation cards, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at these. These are really beautifully painted. I love them. And we're going to just kind of go through here. Oh, nice green beetle. I love the green beetles. Although the one, it was a different scarab beetle. This was the symbol for my wedding and my union to my husband. Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. Go over there and check my husband Paul out. He has a wonderful tarot channel, and I know a lot of you already know who he is. He's subscribed to both. But if you happen to not, definitely please go over there, watch your placements over at his tarot. All right. Okay, individuate with love. Contemplate how it might be to live as a divine, true self beyond the known. Yeah. I like that. I'm just sitting in it for a second. I have waited, and there's no time schedule for individuation, but a lot of literature says, not unlike initiation into the mysteries, these things begin as we get older, as we get into our middle age, as we kind of go on with things. And I'm getting to that age, or I'm in that age. So, you know, we spend a lot of our lives taking on layers and layers of, as we talked about, coping mechanism, conditioning, you know, the things that have happened in our self-mythology, our collective mythologies, you know, whatever, all these things, these that come together to make us who we perceive ourselves to be, this composite being. And as we get older, as we've, you know, lived some life, seen some things, felt a lot, we begin the process of individuation. And this is the unification of self, while also letting so many things fall away. Not discarding, but it's like, if you could imagine, we're shedding our skin, and as it kind of slides off into a fine dust, and it meets, you know, the waters beneath us, and kind of swirls together, and it's absorbed through our feet again. And it's what helps us grow. It's a nutrient. Even the terrible things, even the things that we would never tell anybody about ourselves, those shadowy things, those little bugs, even those things can be turned in, transmuted in to the things that feed our soul, that help us understand our true self, our true will, our reason for being here, our own personal original virtues. That's some serious work. But I think that you're aligned with that consciousness right now. And that is a beloved thing. And so, I'm going to thank you so much for spending this time with me, Sagittarius. It is always such a pleasure and such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. The algorithm decides everything about everything these days. So we like to make it happy by giving it the engagement it desires. And that some of those things are liking the video, watching the readings from the beginning to the end, sharing the readings on other social media platforms. Of course, you don't have to do any of these things, but I like to mention them in case you are wondering how you can help support the channel. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And please think about leaving a comment. I love getting to know all of you. I like to know who's watching these readings. How are you receiving them? And also, you know, sharing your testimonials, your life events, things that you are thinking about, that you are, you know, that are in your heart. It is the ultimate blessing for me to be able to read those and receive them. And I reply back to all my comments. So sometimes it takes me a day or two. So don't think I ever forgot about you or I skipped over. Just come back and, you know, look to see when I've replied, maybe in 2 or 3 days at the most. But you know, also, you all support each other. If it is directly or passively, somebody reading and thinking, hey, I really relate to that. I really have been very interested in continuing to make a space on this vast internet where we can connect. We have a community here. And thus far, it has been more than I can imagine. You all are so kind to each other and so supportive. I love seeing that. I truly do. So I thank you. And with that, I will say we will talk in just a few more days. Bye, Sagittarius.